thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I know you've been fairly busy today. You've got like a press block and a couple of different interviews and stuff. So, how's that been going?
Yeah, good. This is only the third one, so we're at the beginning.
Nice. Okay. And how many do you have to go?
I think I have another three, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
uh,
I'm like right in the middle.
right in the middle. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for doing this. I know it's taking some time out of your otherwise free time, so I appreciate it. Uh,
Okay.
let's let's just kind of have a chat about the record, about the tour, and then on the note of you having so many interviews, I kind of prepared a bunch of fun questions to go through because I figured you might be maybe sick of answering the same questions like two or three times. So I was like, I'll just do some fun stuff, see what Mikaila likes. So
Sounds good.
okay, hell yeah. So, Toxic came out last year, a little bit of a spiritual rebirth for yours truly and for yourself. Talk to me about that and what it's been like to kind of reflect on that record since putting it out, playing shows, having people respond to the music.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Toxic. It was, as you said, like a bit of a rebirth for us, but it also felt like a huge therapy session for me. So I guess getting to play those songs live now feels really nice. There are some like heavy moments in the tour,
Hmm.
like during the show as well, but which is kind of like a first for me as well. I find that I usually in the past haven't really felt like that. Um, but yeah, I think that it's definitely the darkest record we've ever put out.
I would also say that, like, both lyrically a dark record, but also maybe the heaviest record that yours truly have put out. And I feel like you're matching that lyrical intensity with a little bit more grit and a little bit more sonic intensity. Is that something that you would agree with?
Yeah, I think that like I tried to match. I think both of the things mirror each other. I feel like because
Mm,
the music's a little bit heavier, I was able to be a little bit, deeper in my lyrics and like vice versa, which was the intention
yeah.
behind Toxic as well in the first place.
And then I guess with the record out, and then you kind of had a pretty busy 2024 with kind of like the last half of the year. You had that North American tour with Enter Shikari and You Me at Six, which is phenomenal, as well as the support run for 30 Seconds to Mars. All huge shows. So, kind of talk to me about the touring aspect of last year. What was it like to play some really big shows and play some new material?
Yeah, it was like the best touring cycle we've ever done. It just really felt really like we had gone to the next level, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I was thinking there's like another word, but I can't think of it. But yeah, we definitely felt like this was our second record. We've been touring a lot. This was like our fourth time in America. I think it was like our
Mm.
sixth time doing the UK, and it kind of felt definitely like, okay, this is a step up for us.
Kind of broken through a little bit of a ceiling here after grinding it out for years.
Yeah, like, and it was our first like major like it was a support in Australia that like we were doing, like we did Margaret Court and Kudos in Sydney, which is I guess like a venues that we went to when we were kids. So yeah, to like be at that next level like with this record, like it felt really special.
Were those types of shows and playing venues like that, were they ever the goal for yours truly? Or is that something that you kind of never really thought that the band would be at a place to do? Like, was there any moment of reflection where you were like, holy shit, we're going to play like stadium shows? That's crazy.
It was definitely a dream. I think that we were happy to do whatever we were given kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Um so in terms of like, did I think that, we would get to do something like that off our second album and, with bands like that? And did I think that I would have been able to tour like most of the world with like one of my favorite bands? Like, yeah, I never ever thought that we'd get to do that. But I just think it's one of those things that we just put our head down and like worked so hard that it was happening. I didn't think we realized that it was happening until it kind of happened.
Yeah. And then I guess like conversely, now you're about to go on your own headline run. You're about to kind of do the album launch tour for Toxic. What is it like, I guess, to kind of switch that up and kind of play some smaller shows, more intimate shows, and really kind of like maybe scale down the production of like a stadium show to like a club show? Are you excited to do that? Are there any kind of concerns or anything that you want to make sure you're getting just right?
No, I'm excited because it's exactly like where Toxic lives, I guess.
Mm,
Like it's our shows and this is the size that it is. And we get to play these songs as we are right now in that space. So I feel like it's going to be perfect. I don't feel like we're going to have to really change anything. It's just going to be the way that it's supposed to be.
yeah, sick. And then kind of looking further afield to like the rest of this year and perhaps into the future, now that you have kind of broken through that ceiling and you've kind of seen some kind of more success for the band, what's kind of next? What's on the bucket list? What are the things that you guys are trying to aim for?
I think another record, I think, is the next step. Like I love Toxic and I love the era that we've had in it. I think that this Australian tour will be like kind of um the last thing that we had to do for the record to feel like for the cycle to feel complete. So I
Sure.
think we're looking at doing something new next.
Yeah. Do you guys already have material in the works? So you're already kind of writing stuff?
Yeah, we've got some stuff and we're just in the middle of writing and kind of trying to figure out what yours truly is next.
Hmm.
Like where do we go from this after Toxic and what do we
That's a
sound like?
little
And
exciting,
yeah,
right?
it is. It's super exciting because it's like, I don't know, I feel like Toxic itself was such like a rebirth for us that it's like, I feel like we're getting the opportunity to do it again.
So that's the official journalistic portion of our chat out of the way. We smashed through that like a bunch of pros. So now I have some fun stuff to kind of go through. I've talked about this before on the pod with different guests, and one of the things they always tell you to do is to not read YouTube comments. I ignored that advice for
Okay.
for this interview. So I went through the music videos from the Toxic Cycle, and I was reading through the comments of people's responses to the music, to the record, and all of that sort of stuff. And I've tried to pull out some curious kind of comments, and then I wanted to kind of get your feedback and response to some prompts to those. So
Interesting.
I'll show you what I mean here. So I was watching the video for "Back to You," which is the
Hmm.
album opener. Incredible song.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. And one commenter said, opening riff is awesome, gives me Sonic Adventure 2 vibes.
Love
And that
that.
and I was like, okay, interesting. So I wanted to ask you, have you played Sonic Adventure 2? And if not, did you have a favorite video game when you were a kid?
As a kid, I played so many Sonic games. I can't even recall on the exact, if I played that exact one.
I
My
had to
favorite
Google it. It
was
came out in 2001. So like not
maybe
sure
not then.
if that's in the sweet spot for you, but
I loved Sonic Races, and I think that's the
mm,
one it was. And Sonic Unleashed was my favorite Sonic game.
nice. Nice.
So I liked Sonic. Like I think it's also kind of like a little like meme that's like in our world. The world of yours truly is that we like carried this like this plushie of Sonic around,
Oh
and
shit.
yeah, and then it just existed. And so I think sometimes people take the piss because they know that I like for some reason think Sonic's funny.
Right. Maybe
Yeah,
this commenter is like in on the joke and maybe
maybe
that
they
was
are,
like
maybe they're
what they were
not.
going to. Okay.
I don't know. I hope they are. If they're not, then they know something. They learn something new.
Yeah. In the same comment thread for the same video, there was another commenter who said, "This is the sort of track that would end up on the track list for a game like Burnout." And you've mentioned like Sonic Racing. Did you ever play Burnout?
No.
It was kind of like a bootleg Need for Speed. It was just like a
Okay.
car racing game. Like you're just like booting cars and trying to get away from cops. But I remember that it was popular because the soundtrack really did slap, and it had like really like cool songs that were coming out in like the mid 2000s. So I'm bringing this up to say that that's a compliment. that they think
Oh,
that you could
yeah.
be on the Burnout soundtrack, because
Love that.
a lot of people love the Burnout games for the music specifically. Okay, final one for Back to You. Someone says, this song should get featured in a blockbuster movie so it can blow up. So I wanted to put it to you. If you could write a song for a movie, what kind of movie would it be? What would be your ideal like movie soundtrack for yours truly?
I feel like I would love it to be like in some kind of like action movie. Like growing up,
Okay.
like I love Transformers. Or actually, let's say if they did like another Sonic movie, we'll put it in a Sonic movie.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
Just merging the two comments together. I love this. Synergy.
Yeah. Actually, that would be pretty hectic. Yeah.
Yeah. But I could totally see you guys doing like an action kind of movie. Like I remember when Tonight Alive had something on like the Spider-Man soundtrack like back in the
Yeah.
day. And I remember that being like a cool thing and like something that I never thought would happen for like a band from Australia. So like you guys could definitely do that. If they're going to make a Spider-Man movie, we should put you forward.
We'll let them know.
Okay. I looked at the clip for Call My Name, which is the album closer, and I love that song. I think you kind of bookended the record with two of the best songs, in my humble opinion. One of the commenters said, I've been trying to keep the lights on is thematically a really cool first line for the first song to come out following Is This What I Look Like? So I wanted to kind of throw it to you and say, is there another lyric on Toxic that you're really, really proud of? Maybe like a deep cut or something in there that you were like, I'm killing it with this line.
Well, now that you have said that, there is a lyric in the record, um, in the song called Let Go. At the
Mm.
end of it, it says, Is this what I look like here without you now?
Ooh.
And so, like, it's one of those things that, like, you really have to listen for it at the end of
Mhm.
it. And it's kind of just talking about how, how different the band is and how different my life is and everything since Is This What I Look Like to until now.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. It's got a nice kind of like visual metaphor there, and it's playing around with like ideas of like presence and absence, which I think is super interesting.
Yeah.
Is there a lyric perhaps on some of the earlier stuff that you guys put out that you kind of hate and that you wish you didn't write, or something that you have to perform and you're like, nah, I really wish I didn't have to do that? Because I mean, people evolve, people change. You're a different Mikaila to who you were a decade ago.
I don't have anything from like Afterglow onwards that I think, I don't like that. There's a lot of stuff off our first EP, Too Late for Apologies, that like I don't want to sing, and we don't play them because I don't want to sing Call the Doctor, tell him all I hear is a flat line. Like when I was like, I don't know, 14 or 15, however old I was when I wrote that song, it was hectic, but like now I'm like, oh, it just feels like I think that like I'm 27 now.
Mhm.
When I started writing songs for yours truly, I was like 16. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that like I thought was really cool when I was a teenager. Now as an adult, I'm just like, I just don't think that I should be saying these things anymore. Like
Yeah.
I don't align with those things anymore. But it is just like it's like reading your journal out for people every single day. It's like putting your journal out on the internet and being like, here it is, and it's like
Mm.
you can't really go back and change the way that you felt
No.
back then. It's just that lots of people's journals are personal and no one ever reads them, but everyone's read mine. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that is kind of the buy-in with this kind of music, right? It's like you're going through the catharsis of making art and making music and putting yourself out there. And then that's a double-edged sword because like you can't go back and tidy bits up and change things as you evolve and become a different person. So there's a certain amount of vulnerability that comes with having to put your diary out on stage every night.
definitely. Yeah.
Keeping on Call My Name, I have another comment where someone says, "Love these new post-hardcore songs, filling a too close to touch void," and then they've got an RIP message. So they're talking about a band that's no longer with us. So I was wanting to ask you, is there a band that you really liked back in the day or even now that's no longer around that you listen to and you're like, man, I wish this band was still here. I wish I could see them.
For me, it was Basement, but now they're
Ooh,
back, so we're all good. But I don't know. I don't think I really have any,
okay.
to be
Did you
honest, which is
see?
kind of boring.
No, that's fine. Did you see Basement at the New Bloom Room earlier this
I
year?
did. I had to see them. That was my first time seeing them for a really long time.
So
So
good. The whole show
yeah,
was crazy.
yeah, they were amazing.
Super, super good.
Don't get wrong. You want another part of me. Which one do I get to keep? Chew me up and spit me out. Let the taste don't get away. These days I'm not having any fun. Straight to my face like a loaded gun. Rolling my eyes, so already gone. Let the taste don't get away.
Moving on to Sour, I have a comment here that says, if you want to hear more of Mikaila, I can thoroughly recommend you search for Slumberjack In for the Kill. And they're talking about your like a version that you did with Slumberjack. Incredible song, and your vocals, incredible. And then that got me thinking about the most recent like a version that you did with the band for Charlie XCX. So I wanted to kind of ask you, what was that experience like? And how you, I guess, feeling about reflecting on that and that experience and that cover in particular.
I'm really proud of the Charlie XX one.
It rocks, by
It
the way. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super proud of it. It just felt right. Like I guess at
Mm,
the time, like I guess like the whole Brat Summer thing was going on, and like,
sure.
but we decided we wanted to do Von Dutch when Von Dutch came out. Like we were like, if we ever get to do like a version again, we're doing Von Dutch. So like it was just always in the back of our mind. When we got told that we were going to get to do it, we were like, easy, we already know what we're doing. So we were already able to kind of like, I don't know, just get into it. So we felt super prepared on the day to do it because we had just like been visualizing it for so long.
Yeah. I saw another commenter say, I didn't even write this down. I'm just kind of thinking back to when I was putting those together. But I saw someone say that like that song on Off Brat is kind of like already kind of like a punky song or like a pop punky song, and it just needed the backing behind it. So they thought that you guys were fulfilling that part of like giving it that live band kind of sound. So I think that's kind of cool.
That's a nice comment.
It's very nice. A lot of nice
Yeah.
comments on these videos. I got to say, there's not
Good.
not a lot of shitty comments. There's a lot of like weird comments, but there's a lot of good comments.
Good. Okay.
If you could cover any song right now with the band, what would it be? Excluding the one that you've already done, obviously.
So a song that came out the week that we did our like a version was Disease by Lady Gaga.
Mm,
And I was like, if this song had come out like any earlier, I would have wanted to have done this.
damn. Would there be any trepidation or anxiety about covering an artist like Lady Gaga? Like that's like top tier pop, and you're like, yeah, fuck it, I can do
Yeah.
that.
I don't know. I just thought that we could make it cool,
You
you
could,
know?
absolutely. I
I just thought we'd
completely
make it
agree.
cool. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't thinking about like we did Oasis the first time we did like a version. And there's not
Mm.
many nice comments on that video. So it can't be worse than that. So
Yeah. On the Charlie XCX video, so this is on the Triple J channel, there was a comment there saying, definitely needing another Punk Goes whatever album. Love this cover so much. So I wanted to ask you, did you ever listen to those Punk Goes whatever albums, the whole series that they had? Did you have a favorite one? And did you have a favorite cover of that kind of album that you enjoyed listening to? Because there's so many,
yeah,
so
there's
many
so
to choose from.
many. I'm trying to think of the ones that I really like. I remember which one. What did Mayday Parade do? They did a really good one.
Ooh,
What was that one?
let me pull it up. Hold on.
I don't know why I'm forgetting so many things right now.
That's okay. You're in the press block. Like you got too
Yeah,
many questions. Somebody that I used to know.
yeah, that one.
Mm,
That was sick. Yeah,
okay, that's a good one. I
yeah.
think I remember listening to a bunch of them, but like the one that I really remember, and most of the covers are kind of terrible now in retrospect, but it was Pop Goes Crunk. And it was a lot of like the metalcore bands and like pop-up bands trying to do like rap songs and like, I don't know, like trap songs and stuff. It was a time. There was a lot of rough covers
Interesting.
going on there. Yeah.
I don't know if I think that sounds familiar, but I don't really remember it.
I was DJing in Destroy All Lines clubs at the time, and that was the type of stuff that people would ask for, and I would play,
Of
and I'd just be like, look, if it works on the dance floor, that's fine. Might not personally be my thing, but I'm gonna play it regardless.
Give the people what they want.
That's right. Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
To kind of wrap up our conversation here, we've got a few minutes left. I guess with these shows, the intimate kind of club shows that are made for the toxic material, what are you trying to give fans to kind of show them the best of the record and the best of yours truly? What are you giving to them in the set?
I think that we've played these songs a lot everywhere so far, if that makes sense. Like not in Australia.
totally.
But I'm gonna start this question again. We've played these songs a bit elsewhere, overseas.
Yes.
And I'm excited to play them for like our friends and family and like, the people in Australia that, have been coming to our shows for years and show them like all the things that we've learned by kind of spending some time away. So yeah, I think it's exciting to show ourselves as like the new version of yours truly that the people here haven't been able to see yet.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think, playing the shows on the road overseas on touring circuits means that the Australian audience is getting like the battle tested material. Like you kind of ironed out the kinks, you know what works, you've got the set list kind of like all bolted up, ready to go. So I think it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, it will be great.
Mikaila, thank you very much for coming on the show. I'm going to wrap things up there, but thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
No worries. Thank you.
Hello, Owen popping in to say, please sign up for the TPD Patreon. This is what helps us keep the lights on and keep the show going. The link is at the bottom of your screen right now, patreon.com/tpdpod. All of our patrons get exclusive access to Side B of our roundup episodes, so you get a few extra tracks, as well as our feature album discussion and the full show experience. Our patrons also get exclusive access to behind-the-scenes, off-the-cuff chit-chat from all of our guest episodes. But the patrons are the ones who make all of this happen. For as little as $5 a month, you can sign up to the TPD Patreon, and it really helps us out, really helps us keep the show going. So shout out to all of our patrons, shout out to our executive producer patrons, you're the real ones, and thank you so much for watching the show.